Hello, welcome. This is your Game Master, Jeremy. I'm here to make a special announcement regarding my fall campaigns and also my retirement from Start Playing Games. My economic situation was pretty bad when I started. I definitely needed that side gig money. And going forward, now that I'm working full time, I will no longer need it in the same way. So, as of the conclusion of the Curse of Strahd campaigns, I will be backing away from SPG. But good news and bad news. I will still be running games on a lower frequency, and they'll be free, which is a huge plus for you. However, on the bad side, I will no longer be running D&D 5th edition. So it'll be more indie games and the sort of style that I prefer. I prefer a lower combat and less tactical experience, and a little bit more social, more creative, more experimental, and more investigative style. So the campaigns I'm uh, considering for the fall are Suture of Pale Leaves, which is a Call of Cthulhu campaign set in 1980s Japan. It'll be a surreal horror investigation type campaign. And the second one is City of My Nightmares, which is for Vaesen, the investigative horror game from Free League. This campaign takes place in the 1800s, so it'll feel a little bit more like Sherlock Holmes instead of that 1980s modern day vibe. I've had a chance to read all of the first chapter of City of My Nightmares, and I think it's really strong. And I've received the Suture of Pale Leaves in the mail, and I'm reviewing it now. So I still may change my mind. It might be something totally different than these two, but these are the two that I'm currently considering my front runners. Um, in the meantime, I'll probably take a week off or so and then go back to running one shots for a month or two. And you're definitely invited to participate in those. Take a look in my server, and I'll be posting some info about it. But if you want to continue following me after that, I really want to sell you on joining the Open Hearth RPG network. And here's some information on that. The Open Hearth is a community that runs games. It is free to join, and they are dedicated mostly to indie games. So they're not against 5th edition. I have seen it listed there, but only once in about 5 years. So it's mostly narrative story games. Currently, they've got sessions listed for Girl by Moonlight, Blaze in the Dark, Apocalypse Keys, Brindlewood Bay. And here's a session for Star Wars, and then there's a Star Trek even that's listed. So a little bit of everything, really. And I really think that if you like my style and are open to new things, then, and if you want to follow me, then I really highly suggest giving it a try. And not just for me, give the other GMs a chance. The Open Hearth is where I learned a lot of my techniques. So, safety tools, stars and wishes, stuff like that. The Open Hearth historically used to be known as the Gauntlet RPG community. So you might have heard of that. They split in two, is what happened about 2 or 3 years ago. The Gauntlet became the publishing arm, and they publish games like Trophy, which you might have heard of, and then Brindlewood Bay and The Between. And then the Open Hearth is the community piece, the Play Network. So some people get tripped up on the names. When I joined, it was still known as the Gauntlet, but the Open Hearth is the continuation of that. And they really are on the cutting edge of modern GMing techniques. A lot of the players are GMs, but please don't be intimidated. I'd say that the player base includes a lot of new players as well as returning veteran players. But the GM skill tends to be pretty high. So if you're interested in joining, right now I've got the Playable website pulled up. Playable is an app that they paid for, and it runs their calendar, sort of like how Start Playing Games is a platform for listing games. Playable is the platform that Open Hearth developed. When you come in, you'll need to sign up for an account and go through the process of that. And once you've signed up, come back to the Open Hearth. The navigation might be a little confusing, so if you need help, just ask me and I'll help you out. Come back to the Open Hearth and find this request to join community and click that. Once you click that, it'll take about 24 hours or so for the community manager, Lowell Francis, will manually click to allow you in. So that's just a little guardrail there. But once you've done that, then you can start joining games for free. There is a paid tier for Open Hearth. In my opinion, it's totally not necessary. It was more necessary when the community was still known as the Gauntlet. But now most of the games are totally open to new players on the free tier. And I checked this month. The only one that I noticed that was gated, like soft gated, was for the Australian time zone. So it said this game is has priority access for the first 48 hours for players from Australian time zones. And that's just that way of that GM saying, I'd like to play with people in that part of the world. And then if there aren't enough signups in the first 48 hours, then it's open to everyone. So usually if there is some sort of gate, it's this sort of soft gate, and it's only a limited time, like 48 hours or something like that. Another tip, whenever you join, always take a look at during the last and the first week of the month. New games tend to be posted around then, and especially if they're campaigns or series, then say on July 1st, you'll look and there'll probably be listings for August 1st. So you might have to plan a little bit further ahead to be able to get into stuff. But honestly, that's not too different from Start Playing Games. A lot of times when you sign up for something, it's going to take a while for it to launch. Whereas here, it's usually a predicted launch in the future, and then this sort of sign up period that extends before that, if that makes any sense. But when you join, like I said, don't join it just for me. I think this is a great opportunity, especially if you're interested in trying something that's different from 5th edition. The GMs that I play with that I would highly recommend are Lowell Francis. Lowell Francis is the community manager. So he's sort of in charge of the organization, and he's the most prolific GM there. So you'll probably be able to find a one-shot or a short series with Lowell, like maybe Masks the New Generation, session 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, that kind of thing. If you see something like that and it works for your schedule, I'd probably sign up for it. The second person I want to recommend is Shane. So Shane I've played with the most, and Shane goes by they pronouns, and they're very, very talented. They're from Australia, so they have an Australian accent, which is kind of awesome. But they tend to have sessions that are in the morning for them, but in the evening for us in the USA. So, and then the third person I would recommend is Alan, this Alan person, who Alan R. who runs really good games as well. So beyond that, I'm sure the rest are fine, and the quality does tend to be pretty high. So let's go back to my little outline here. So yeah, those are the main things. Some things to look forward to if you play with me in my free games. So I tend to do more experimentation. You've experienced that little when I've used elements of Trophy Dark and Trophy Gold in your 5th edition games. That's been very pleasant for me to do that kind of grafting, mix and match type experimentation. So that's something that I like to do. I am an aspiring game designer and adventure designer, so that helps me scratch that itch. And then I'll be a little bit more opinionated. So in my paid games, I've sort of suppressed some of my own preferences a little bit in favor of what the group has asked for. And like I said, my style tends to be more social and investigative and experimental. So, and less tactical and less about combat. So if you feel like you've jived with my style, then you can look forward to that being a little bit more in the forefront. But yeah, those are the things. Let's see, I've pulled up one other thing. So I know for one shots, I'm going to be doing Aether Nexus, which is a science fantasy RPG featuring mecha suits. That should be fun. So that'll be one of the first things that I list on the open Hearth. But definitely check it out. It's always awkward saying goodbye to a part of your life. But, every time a door closes, another one opens, or so they say. But yeah, I look forward to playing with y'all more in the future. And I hope you have an exciting, progression in your own RPG journey. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll see you on the weekends. Talk soon. Bye bye.